Hi everyone. I am back again. This time I am going to go over this paper, URLs Help Topics Guide, Understanding Metadata Utility in LLM Training. This is in line with like the other papers that I've been covering recently around metadata condition training of LLMs. I recorded a video for one. I'll probably upload all of these at the same time soon. But yeah, let's delve right into it. LLMs are commonly pre-trained on vast corpora of text without utilizing contextual metadata such as source, quality, or topic, leading to context-free learning paradigm. While recent studies suggest that adding metadata like URL as context, that is, auxiliary inputs are not used in the loss calculation, can improve training efficiency and downstream performance, they offer limited understanding of which types of metadata are truly effective. In this work, we conduct a systematic evaluation and find that not all metadata types contribute equally. Only URL context speeds up training, whereas quality scores and topic format domain information offer no clear benefit. Furthermore, the improved downstream performances of URL conditioning emerge only when longer prompts are used at inference time. In addition, we demonstrate that context-aware pre-training enables more controllable generation than context-free pre-training in a classifier-free guidance fashion. Although in topic and format methods do not accept accelerate training, they are effective for sharing outputs. Okay, yeah, this already looks very good. So this looks like very standard stuff about LLMs. Conventional training is context free, material information are valuable but discarded. As a result, the LLMs don't know about the metadata of the document. Can these be included? Some prior studies suggest that incorporating URLs as context can accelerate training. Recent findings by Higoshi et al. Caution that this is not always the case. Existing work. Oh, is this the Riken paper? Let me check. Oh yeah, this is the Riken paper, which I will cover at some point. I don't know what the heck is happening in this field. I sorted all the papers by like date, and then like the I think one of the papers which everyone cites this paper, but Danshi's group is like listed somewhere. I guess this is maybe the most recent archive update they did, and then you have papers in the past which cite this paper because they were released between a prior version of the paper and the latest version. But yeah, anyways, enough of the rant. This is existing works lack an comprehensive understanding of which types of metadata are more impactful. Yeah, perfect. Fundamentally, context-aware pre-training endowed LMs with the ability to perform conditional autoregressive generation. This conditional generation capability developed through exposure to metadata can potentially be leveraged to steer the model using a classifier-free guidance approach. That is, the distinction between context condition and context-free generation can be further amplified to highlight the influence of contextual information. We aim to investigate whether context-aware pre-training can be utilized for more controllable generation than context-free pre-training. Okay. They do analysis, they examine different types of metadata, and how can it speed up. They demonstrate that condition models are more shareable. Okay, yeah. So metadata for pre-training, Allen Zhu and Lee demonstrate that controls in the experiments that adding a special token to high credibility data can be beneficial. This hypothesis is experimentally validated by Gao et al. How to ensure the model remains equal to a standard data. They also do a cool down. Following this, it all formally proved that context enhanced learning can be exponentially more sample efficient when the model is capable of in context learning. That is, it can effectively utilize contextual information presented. More recently, this paper cautioned that metadata conditioning is not universally effective. Building upon the experimental setup of two, they found that metadata conditioning only helps when the input prompt is sufficiently long. With shorter prompts, it can degrade performance. Most prior studies conduct experiments solely on synthetic data, where the metadata consists of the dataset's production rules. However, in real-world scenarios, metadata cannot fully capture the complexity. Therefore, we aim to explore the extent to which such metadata can actually be helpful. I really like how they've structured this guidance. In LLMs, guidance is given possible through a lot of ways. I guess they talk about steering by modifying the token probability distribution. You can guide the generation by leveraging the difference between the outputs of an expert and anti-expert. You adjust the sampling distribution by downweighting tokens favored by an amateur model. Sanchez et al. Introduced the idea of classifier free guidance, CFG. I really hate that they've not they've used an acronym which is so popular as even in computer science, right? People talk about context free grammars all the time. Originally using text to image generation to text only generation. Building on this, he et al. Applied CFG to steer LLMs for personalization, showing potential for controllable personalization. However, all of these approaches rely on context free pre-trained language models. All right. Okay, so now the method. I'll go over the figure once they describe it a bit. To properly organize the contextual information, we introduce the two new tokens, context begin and context end. The metadata information is inserted between the two tokens and pre-printed before the document. Okay. During training time, they mask the loss for this. So loss is only over the standard text. To avoid confusion, we use context to refer to the auxiliary metadata information not used in the loss and use prompt for the text. Okay. Yeah. Where context is introduced at the sequence level and is specific to each document. To ensure that model remain capable of handling context-free, they also have context-free document during pre-training in 90 to 10 ratio. This is, I think, in from Danshi's paper. The context enhanced corpus is illustrated in figure 1. So you have starting token, context, document, new starting token, context, document, and so on. If one document is too long and split into multiple sequences, the context is prepended to each one. Okay, makes sense. Although the context is added to each every sequence, it may be although empty. Okay, so some of them might not have any context. In 90% of the corpus, we include a non-empty context, and the remaining it is empty. Okay, context can be URL, quality score. All right. Now this is the training part. At inference time. Mhm. Okay, I missed this part. Unlike the Miko approach, which applies 90% followed by 10% cooldown, they mix it. Okay, which is, I guess, also fair. I think in the Miko paper in the appendix, they have like some results which show that doing it sequentially is better. But I don't think the results were like outside the bounds of what you could think comes from this variance across runs. At inference time, leveraging the conditioning capabilities learned during pre-training, we can guide the LLMs to generate text based on given context. Next token prediction involves sampling from distribution over the vocab. To incorporate contextual signals, they modify the distribution and then they define, okay, multiple sampling methods. Okay, no, this should be yellow. Yeah. So context-free sampling, this is a standard sampling where you sample on empty context, makes sense. Context conditioned, you sample on context, and finally context guided. Following the classifier-free guidance in diffusion models, they amplify the impact of context with the following sample probabilities. So this is the probability of generating without, okay. So this is the probability distribution that you get for sampling without context, and then this is what you get with context and without context. You look at how much different they are, and then you weigh it by gamma. And then during inference, in practice, they modify the generation in the logit level by taking the probabilities, the like probability of different token generation and upweighing certain tokens given a context by a factor gamma uh, with and contrasting it with their probability if no context was provided. When gamma is 0, this is context free. When gamma is 1, this is context conditioned. And when gamma greater than 1, they amplify the power of the context. It is worth noting that softmax output after context guidance is no longer faithful probability distribution, while context free still follow faithful probability distribution. And by faithful, we mean a probability distribution that can be trusted as a true representation without distortion, manipulation, miscalculation. Okay, fair enough. Now, uh, where have they described figure two? I'll just go over it myself. So this is the pre-training phase. Okay, this is just a data split, and these are like the different forms of generation. Experiments, they use llama architecture, sequence length 1496, batch size 504, so 2.06 million token batch size. The model has 1.5 B parameters, cosine, decay, 2000 warm steps, and so on. And they train with Megatron LM. All right, very cool. They oh I Okay. They use FineWeb EDU. We subsample and tokenize it using the Nemo tokenizer with additional two additional tokens, which are, I guess, the context start and context end. And Nemo is the Mistral Nemo model. They for evals they use uh, this is uh, so they're using a different eval harness. Yeah, yeah, it's already like very hard to compare against things. And then if you have like different eval harness, even though you have the same task across different papers, it again gets harder. Now, the baseline is standard pre-training. They also have position token ablation, standard pre-training where each sequence is pre-painted with BOC EOC. The setup introduces the studies the effect of positional token. And Miko is also a baseline. Then the types of metadata are full URL, quality score, and quality is from Llama, and then domain information from Web Organizer. And then the combination that they try are full URL and quality, full URL and domain, and all three. Not all metadata conditioning speeds up retraining. We begin by investigating whether metadata can facilitate training, specifically whether pre-training can be accelerated. The left panel of figure 3 presents the training perplexity across runs. The two additional tokens have minimal effect on learning dynamics, indicating that any observed differences stem from contextual content itself. Among the three types of context evaluated, only the URL consistently results in lower perplexity. So this is figure 3. And if you look at it, with URL is the lowest, and then the rest are very similar. Okay, I by this, then is the improved performance stemming from longer context, given that the URLs are substantially longer than other metadata. One might wonder whether the effectiveness stems from this. To examine, they combine the other metadata type with URL to see if additional context would further improve. And the right panel says no. This indicates that the increased context length uh, but it's not the increased context length that speeds up training, but the content itself. So it does not further improve it, but it, I guess, is closer. Does the acceleration translate into downstream performance? With 5-shot eval, we see better performance for the URL condition model in every task. For the 9 task average, the URL condition model can match the performance of the standard pre-trained model on 100B tokens with only 60B tokens, achieving a 40% significant acceleration. The acceleration in terms of downstream performance is greater than training loss. Uh, Wait, thus acceleration translate. Okay, with 5-shot eval, they see better performance for the URL model. For the 9 task average, URL condition model can match the performance of the standard pre-trained model with 40% less thing. The acceleration in terms of downstream performance is greater than. Okay, yeah. So takeaway: only URL conditioning has a positive impact. Now you have downstream performance from longer prompts. When does URL conditioning work? To better understand the impact of context conditioning, they perform systematic evaluation across downstream tasks by comparing 0-shot and 5-shot performance. They notice an interesting phenomenon. The URL condition pre-trained model shows increased downstream evaluations with 5-shot eval, but not 0-shot. For the rest, they don't see substantial improvements. So longer prompts are needed to infer latent semantics to help eval is their conclusion. Okay. But I also find this interesting. Like typically don't people find mm, 5-shot to be much better than 0-shot in evals, which is why they do 5-shot. Why even do 5-shot at that point if your base models are not? Yeah. Now conflicting signals. Interestingly, the benefit of URL conditioning are negated when additional metadata is introduced. For example, combining quality score with URL seems to introduce conflicting signals, leading to downstream performance that is even lower than that of standard pre-trained. This suggests that the latent clusters inferred by the model from the URLs may differ from the predefined clusters we assigned. Wait, this suggests that the latent clusters inferred by the language model from the URLs may differ from the predefined clusters we assigned. Okay, notably, we did not manage to reproduce the results from the Miko baseline. Possible reasons could be different things. Nonetheless, they still observe benefits. Okay, so I guess the main takeaway is that URL condition can only benefit for longer examples, and also that why did they not mention the fact that different additional signals doesn't help? When evaluating context free, only these are appended, and what do you see? So the average is 46.7. With URL, you get the max, and with Miko, you get slightly worse even. Hmm. With five short evals, Miko is the same. Hmm. So, okay, yeah. I mean, I don't even know how to now compare those papers, right? Since the setup is so different. And that also makes you wonder how much of this is setup specific. Yeah, I probably guess a lot. Now, context condition generation. The results from table 2 are context free generation using a context condition model. We now test whether the performance can be improved if correct contexts are given at test time. So, for these tasks, we condition the generation on contexts that match the task. We manually select the context for quality score. They simply say full 5 quality score. The contexts we used are presented in table 10. And uh, what do they see? Enhanced downstream performance with context condition generation. So with URL content, you do get improvements with yeah, domain information, quality score, as well as URL. Now you have context guided generation. Can the impact of context be further amplified? Accuracy classification in table 3 relies on log likelihood that requires probability distribution. Classify free guidance modifies the output logits before softmax. Logits have been manually shifted, which makes the resulting probability distribution not grounded in the model's knowledge. Likelihood based evaluation does not work, so they turn to generation based eval. Given the limited capacity of the 1.5B model, they cannot evaluate them meaningfully for free form thing, so they assess their ability to generate coherent continuations when provided a prompt. Okay, I mean, we are in a bit of in some dodgy territory, but yeah. We gather prompts in health and history domains and let our pre-trained model to finish them. Then they use GPT-4o to evaluate over four dimensions with different steering factors. Over 50 prompts, we have the GPT-4 evals in table 4 where we compare the three different generation methods. Given that LLMs may hallucinate, you run a three-seed eval and report the mean and standard deviation. They observe that context condition prediction model is more shareable as showcased by improved performance. Okay. And figure 5 shows that the score is higher when you have when it peaks at 1.5. I guess this is why they pick 1.5. Okay. Which metadata is efficient in guidance? Among the three types of metadata, they notice that even though topic and format domains are not effective in training, they offer steering possibilities. Yeah. We provide an example of different continuations from three different sampling methods. Conditioning on topic format with context-free generation offers very generic answers. Context condition generation is able to offer more health-relevant technical answers. Context guided generation is the most comprehensive. All right. Yeah. Very cool. So let me just go back. Where is table 4? Okay, this is table 4. Average LLM message eval score on different prompt completion. Model type denotes the type of checkpoint. Condition being context condition, standard being standard. So with context guided, you have the topic and format with condition model best, and then with history also that is the best. Okay, and then example of different continuations and the ratings given. When conditioning on topic this and setting gamma greater than LM sometimes produce humorous or absurd outputs, such as stating that Julius Caesar was assassinated because of a taste in makeup and he wore too much jewelry. While this clearly highlights the modest tendency to hesitant, it also underscores the strength of the steering mechanism. I mean, what kind of strength are we now? Ah, okay, okay. This is very cool. I get it now. Example of different context-related continuations. So you can see that sharing factor -2, you get things like he was assassinated by senators and officials who were on the wrong side. With zero, you get this. With uh, one and two and three, you start scaring it quite well, actually. This is very interesting. And then let me just go up. I might have missed something here. No, I think I've covered it. Yeah. Moreover, when provided with different contextual signals, our models can adapt to continuation in ways that align with the intended framing. As shown in Table 7, the open-end prompt Paris is known for leads to varied continuation depending on Medical Express or New York Times or Reddit. This is Table 7. Paris is known for 150 years of medical excellence. Four things: big, beautiful, rich, old. Four things: cuisine, fashion, nightlife, and cinema. Oh, okay, very interesting. I also find the four things thing being consistent also super interesting. Um, yeah, they have more results in table 8 and then the appendix, which I will look at. So, with context guided generation, a larger improvement is observed in context guided generation with context condition pre-training, a larger improvement is observed in context guided generation, and domain information does not accelerate pre-training, it provides more interpretable and efficient guidance during inference. Conclusion: in this work, we present this findings reveal that not all metadata types contribute equally or downstream performance. Specifically, URL metadata stands out as the only form of context that significantly accelerates training and improves performance, particularly when longer prompts are used at inference time. In contrast, quality scores do not yield measurable improvements. Nevertheless, we demonstrate that the latter form of metadata has strong value during inference. Yeah, overall, context-aware pre-training, especially when paired with dynamic guidance strategies, offers a powerful tool set. Very cool. This was done on and Alps. Alps is, I believe, like a very big compute cluster that they also use to train like a Swiss LLM, which is coming out soon. Limitation in future work. It is not very thorough investigation. 1.5B, 100B. Okay, at scale, stuff might change. 800 GPRs on Grace Hopper 200. They've okay. These are the results with and without URL. I think these are very similar to Miko's takes results. We further present the sharing results on DI condition models in table 8 and 9. Given the exact same prompt, the continuation can be shared in many different ways. When sharing with news articles, the output tends to include more concrete things, while with personal blogs, spam ad, you get promotional style. So let's jump to table 8. Table 8. The what is the prompt Paris is known for? With climate law, you get cultural diversity, LGBTQ plus people, women and people of color often underrepresented. I think this is incorrect grammar, right? Paris is known for its okay. It starts with cultural diversity, but then says these people are underrepresented. Finance and business. Okay, yeah, this looks fairly interesting. Paris is known for its if the domain is fixed as entertainment and the domain here was fixed as knowledge article. Okay, makes sense. Reprint context in inference time. What is there under C2? Okay, I guess the tables are under C2. LLM as a judge, they use LLM as a judge. This is the prompt. Yeah, again, very cool work. I don't think they have released their code base, right? Let me check if they have any GitHub links. No. Let me Google search as well. No, they don't. I was just interested in looking at what kind of, yeah, setup do they have. This is a different paper. No, this is the same paper. Yeah. Regardless, really cool work. I think I now really want to read this paper. Oh man, I have too many papers to read. I also want to read this. And there's a Lee et al. Paper. I quickly need to check which paper is that. Hmm. Okay, this is like one of the main points with Zotero. You cannot jump like different parts. Okay. This is just and since I think they were shared quarters or something, maybe you get both here. But I think there's another paper. Oh yeah, this paper which I want to read. Okay, yeah, enough ranting about stuff, and I guess now I need to actually read stuff. And all right, see you guys next time.